This is a tutorial for the stretchy ribbing bind-off as used in Krisanteema Shawl. This is rather easy bind-off, but I found that it has just enough elasticity without being too over stretchy and without compromising the ribbing fabric. So this is how it looks in our actual shawl. It's stretchy enough, however, that it doesn't overstretch the ribbing, and it has very neat and seamless finish. So let's get to it. This is our little shawl sample, and the last row has exactly the same stitch formation as the last row of end ribbing of Krisanteema Shawl. So I will show you how to work it according to the stitches we have on actual shawl. So in this bind off we have 2 stitches, and we will bind off according to the stitch we see in a previous row. If it's a purl stitch, we will bind off in purl. If it's a knit stitch or twisted knit stitch, we will bind off in knit stitch. So first we have 6 border stitches, 6 edge stitches, which are worked in garter stitch. So those we will bind off as in knit stitch. First we will start with 2 first stitches. These are starter stitches and should be done only at the very beginning of the work. So we will knit 2 of them, place them back on a left hand needle and knit them through back loop. We still have 4 stitches, edge stitches on a needle, so we will do the same. We will knit 1 stitch. We will place these both stitches back on left hand needle and knit them through back loop. Again, knit 1, place both stitches back on left hand needle and knit through back loop. And here we have one more last edge stitch. We knit it, place both stitches back on left hand needle and knit through back loop. So now we have arrived at the end of our border stitches. We will remove marker and start working on the body of the shawl. So first is twist knit stitch as in the previous row. So we will bind it off in the same manner as we were binding off these edge stitches, which is knit 1, place both stitches back on left hand needle and knit through the back loop. Next stitch is a purl stitch. So for the purl stitch we will purl 1, now place both stitches back on the needle. Remember to have the working yarn in front here, and now purl them together. It's a bit finicky. Next one, again purl stitch, we purl it, hold this yarn, maybe it's easier, then put these both stitches back on left hand needle and purl them together. So that's how we are going to bind off the purl stitches. Next ones we have twisted knit stitches, sorry. So these we will bind off as in knit. Knit 1, move both stitches to left hand needle, knit through back loops together. Knit 1, back on a left hand needle both, knit through back loops. Now we are back to the purl stitches one more time. Purl 1, move both stitches onto left needle and purl together. purl 1, move both stitches on the left hand needle and purl them together. So now you will be continuing in the same manner until you reach the central spine. Central spine is right here, and because it's done in a knit stitch, we will be binding it off as with a knit stitch bind off. One more thing I want to mention is when you bind off, please do not bind off too loosely, because the stretch is already factored in a bind off, so you don't have to bind off in a too loose manner. Now let me work until the middle stitch, or central spine stitch. Now we have arrived almost to the central spine. Here we have 2 purl stitches and the central spine right here. So we will do the same as we did for the previous purl stitches. Purl together, purl, back on the left hand needle, purl together. And because we have the central spine is made in worked in a knit stitch, we will knit 1, place back on left hand needle and knit them together through back loop. And in for the other side of the shawl, we will work in the same manner, and this is how our ribbing looks right now. So now I will proceed on working the other side of the shawl. So here we have almost arrived at our edge stitches. So here we have last 2 purl stitches, purl on a left hand needle and purl together, 1 more, the last knit stitch through the back loop, and here we are. These are our 6 edge stitches. We will remove the marker and we'll work them just like in a knit stitch. Knit back on the left hand needle and knit together through back loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one. Oops. Okay, and here we have our little shawl sample. Once you block it, it will block nicely, however it will not overstretch. Another kind reminder to not bind off in too loosely, because the looseness and elasticity is already factored in this bind off. Okay, and this is our finished shawl.